Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, and thank you, Honourable Chabasabo, there for the question. In terms of how we are planning to incentivize or encourage more cooperatives in the rural community, Mr. Speaker, sir, just by way of background, the cooperatives have been operating in Fiji for some time, since the 1940s, and is one of the most enduring forms of business globally. There are currently about 484 cooperatives operating in all 4 divisions across Fiji, involved in 14 different sectors. These cooperatives operate predominantly in wholesale retail, administrative and support services, agriculture, food and industry, banking, real estate activities and transport. And I was just mentioning to the Honourable Ngavoka that we probably need to do a bit more in terms of tourism, particularly in the backpacker space where he was making some valuable comments today. Out of the 484 cooperatives, 161 in the Western Division, 138 in the Central Division, 129 in the Northern Division, and 56 in the Eastern Division. In summary, sir, the cooperatives in Fiji hold about $132 million worth of assets, revenue turnover about 18.1 million, and cumulatively a net profit of around 2.5 million in the last financial year. I didn't quite appreciate this, Mr. Speaker, sir, but we have more than 25,000 Fiji citizens who are members of cooperatives, and these numbers are continuing to grow. Just for the information of the House, since the coalition government forming, the request for the formation of cooperatives has increased significantly, let's say, with over 65 cooperative awareness sessions to groups, clusters from villages and communities, and more than at least 20 have registered so far. The mode of encouragement, sir, that we are using, surprisingly, is just word by mouth and talking a lot more and engaging across the ministries, and particularly focusing on some of the ministries that are very close to our people, particularly the Ministry of Itoke Affairs. Not because the Leader of Opposition and I are from Tailevu, sir, but some of the initial interest has come from the province of Tailevu. And we are trying to encourage other provinces to have a look and start registering. Interestingly, Mr. Speaker, sir, I haven't informed the cabinet, so I held off on my trade mission update. So once that's done, then I'll do a more detailed update. But one of the things that I sort of rediscovered, if you like, is the word probably, is how successful the New Zealand has been in terms of agriculture through the cooperative model. And 2 models in particular that are of note is obviously the Fonterra success story around milk production, and Esprit, which is to do with kiwi fruit. And for a small island, for New Zealand to be one of the, I think, supplying about 30% of the supply of kiwi fruit into the global market, means that there's so much promise and potential in the cooperative models if they are set up well, Mr. Speaker, sir. In terms of how we are trying to incentivize or encourage, obviously at the moment, Mr. Speaker, sir, we are finding that just by communicating a lot more, interacting a lot more with the government agencies, interacting as well with the private sector, which has come in a big way to support some of the MSME initiatives that are currently in play. You would have noticed one of them is launched by the BSP Bank of a cohort program where they train at least 25 entrepreneurs I think it will be every couple of months. And then these are then encouraged to continue to set up their businesses. Some are in cooperatives, some are working as individuals. So I think to answer the Honourable Bode's question directly, I think if we just continue to focus on more collaboration, we don't need to put ads in the paper. I think the awareness and the keenness on the ground to form cooperatives is quite clear. And like I said, 65 awareness sessions in 3 months is not a bad outcome, and with 20 registrations so far, Mr. Speaker. I thought I'd just share one positive story from the cooperative model, and that's the Y Farmers Cooperative Limited in Ra. The cooperative comprises of 42 farmers in the Matangali Y in Burnetu village in Ra, and were assisted with a brand new tractor. The cooperative made a cash contribution of more than 18,000 through one of the programs, and the ministry contributed close to 56,000 to acquire the tractor. The farmers, who collectively own 600 acres of land, have been able to modernize their farms to increase farm yields and supply farm produce on a weekly basis to their buyers. One of the cooperative members, who currently owns one of a sugarcane farm in cassava, was able to plant and harvest 5 times more cassava and 3 times more cane in harvest from the use of the tractor. Additional income has greatly assisted his family, and he is now able to plant more and reap the reward of his hard work. So like I said, Mr. Speaker, sir, by continuing to target assistance to those that require assistance, by collaborating more with the ministries, we are keen to engage more with the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries, Forestry, and Itauke to see what can be done in the cooperatives. I think there is some significant potential, sir, to really activate the rural economy, which is probably one of the areas where I think both the other side of the House and this side agrees. We need to activate a lot more. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So I'll end it there. My written response is quite long, and I've decided to keep it short in the interest of time as well. Nagasaka.
Thank you.